Hello once again. Welcome back to another video. This time it will be a review of the 2006 film Superman Returns. Superman Returns is a 2006 film directed by Bryan Singer, starring Brandon Routh as Superman, Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, Kate Bosworth as Lois Lane. It's a movie that pays homage to the Donnerverse with Christopher Reeve. It includes the John Williams theme music. Like you hear that in the opening credits, and you also have the audio clips from Marlon Brando in the first film. So we do have Jarrell there also. Yeah, and the story goes that it's that you get these opening credits that say that Superman was protector of Earth, and then remains of Krypton were discovered out in space, and after that he wants to go check it out and see if there's anything of his homeworld left that he can gain knowledge from. And he's gone for 5 years, according to the film. And there is an extended cut of the film that has an alternate opening where you actually see Superman traveling in his ship to where Krypton blew up. But that's not the version that most people have. And basically, in the 5 years Superman is gone, Lex Luthor, he wasn't able, Superman wasn't there to testify against him, so he went free, and then he started taking care of this rich old lady, and then this first scene we see of him is she's on her deathbed, and we see her signing all of her money over to Lex, because she says he's the only one who deserves it, and yeah, Kevin Spacey, he does a pretty good performance as Lex. He and where this whole movie is kind of paying tribute and trying to be a sequel to the Donner films, like he's basically just trying to emulate Gene Hackman in many ways, just like how Brandon Routh is trying to emulate Christopher Reeve, which isn't really so much a problem, but they do a good job in their acting, but the weak point in this movie is just the story and plot. It's like, yeah, Superman just decides to leave Earth for 5 years after he hears about remains of Krypton found. And in the 5 years he's been gone, Lex is out of prison and he's rich now, and Lois Lane has moved on and gotten married, and she has a son now, and she doesn't think the world needs Superman anymore, even though when he returns, he hears from his super hearing that there's people every day calling for someone to save them. So he thinks Lois is wrong, and we see how this movie pays tribute to the Donnerverse, and like we get like when Superman meets Lois on the roof, we get that new version of that scene from the first movie where he says, "You really shouldn't smoke, Miss Lane." And then we get another flight with the two of them, which kind of shows how this world has changed since Superman has been gone. I think that's why Bryan Singer chose to shoot this with that gray tint over the city, where it indicates that the world became a lot darker without Superman. Because the city is all gray, and Superman, his costume's all bright and shiny. And yeah, so and Lex, he devises a new real estate scheme. So it's basically the exact same plot he had in the '78 film. Maybe a little less ridiculous than that one, but still kind of ridiculous. because he has to shoot these two missiles into the ocean to grow these kryptonite islands, which is information he got from the Fortress of Solitude, where he'd been there before, and then after he inherits the money, he goes back there again. And Superman's not there, and but yeah, he wants to make these kryptonite islands come out of the sea and use that as a real estate scheme, even though I'm not sure who's really too interested in buying land out in the middle of the ocean on a green glowing rock that in the comics gave Lex um, radiation poisoning in his blood. So yeah, I think most people wouldn't be that interested. And yeah, there's other than that, there's not really too much to say about the story. It's kind of just okay. Like this movie does seem to be pretty hated by a lot of Superman fans, but I don't know. I don't think it's that bad necessarily, but it's just not all that exciting either. And I think that was probably a disappointment to people in 2006 when this had been the first Superman movie in 19 years, and the last one before that, Superman 4, was so bad. And and this movie, I would honestly say it's only just a little bit better than Superman 3. Superman 3 was only a little bit better than Superman 4, so this movie's not a big improvement over those. Well, one, it focuses too much on paying homage to the Donnerverse, and I guess sort of setting up a trilogy, maybe. We don't really know exactly, because we get that thing at the end where, well, towards the end actually, where Lois and her son are on Lex's ship, and we see the little boy throw a table, and then at the end, of course, it's revealed that he actually is Superman and Lois's son, which and this is something if you go back to the to Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, he in that the scene where you have Clark and Lois sleeping together in the Donner cut, you see that before he gives up his powers, where in the theatrical cut it was reversed around. And I guess the Donner cut is more what Bryan Singer was trying to go off of, which I guess makes sense because he's paying homage to Richard Donner and not to Richard Lester. But yeah, acting in this movie, it's all fine, really. I mean, Franklin Gela is Perry White, and Sam Huntington is Jimmy Olsen. They were all good, and like I said, Brandon Routh, he was fine as Superman. I didn't really have a problem with him at all, really. Well, honestly, I think it was kind of disappointing that he only got one movie, but Warner Brothers just said that it wasn't Superman Returns just didn't make the money that they told their investors it would, so no sequel ever got made. Which there was talks of a sequel that was supposed to feature other Kryptonians and possibly Darkseid, according to Bryan Singer. But we'll never know, of course. And yeah, and pretty much the only acting I had a problem with in the movie was just Kate Bosworth as Lois Lane. I just didn't care for her. To me, she just doesn't have that Lois Lane feel to her. But and the movie looks pretty good. I would honestly say, and like the plane sequence, I know that's one a lot of people normally give credit to, and I can see why. It's a well done scene, and also the guy with the machine gun rounds that he's firing at Superman. That's a cool scene. and him lifting the globe from the Daily Planet up. That's a good scene. But there's one scene on the Kryptonite Island. Superman goes there, and because it's kryptonite, he's losing his powers. And that scene where he's got Lex and his men just beating on him while he's powerless. That scene almost feels like it was copied from Passion of the Christ. The scene where all the temple priests are gathering around Jesus and kicking him and spitting on him. Like it almost felt like the exact same scene. Then of course they dump him in water though, and then the little boy notices that he's in the water, and then Lois and Richard decide to go back and save him. And that's the other thing. Like Lois is married to this Richard guy, plays by James Marsden. He played a Cyclops in the Fox X-Men trilogy, the original one, and he's kind of just a bland character. He's just Lois's husband. That's it. Not really much interesting about him. And then there's this weird thing where Superman is just going to Lois's home and just like watching her through the window. I don't know, that's just weird. Creepy too. I don't like it. Yeah. Overall though, this movie it's not a bad movie, but not a great movie either. I would say it's more just an okay movie. Although I do think it's a bit long, it's 2.5 hours, and not a lot happens in that 2.5 hours, and I just don't think it's a movie I could really see myself watching again necessarily. Like it was fine after, because like this time I watched it, I hadn't seen it in like years, so didn't know how I was gonna feel about it. And it's okay, but don't think I'll ever watch it again though. It's it's too long and it's not really that interesting of a story. So yeah, I'd rate it probably 5 out of 10. It's okay. If you're a Superman fan, I'd say at least give it one watch and then decide what you think of it. I mean, I know it's a film that it's got some people that really love it and some people really hate it. I'm in the middle of that, of course. Yeah. Hmm. Music, it's just John Williams theme music again, so nothing really too new there. And yeah, just we know the little boy is Superman's son, which I know a lot of people hate that too, and I can agree. It doesn't feel like something that was really necessary in that film, and it was kind of done poorly also. Like I would have been fine with the kid just being the son of Richard and Lois. That would have just been fine. You didn't need to really do the Superman son thing, but and it never went anywhere either. So yeah, yeah, that's pretty much about all I got on this movie. It's just there. That's all I can say about it. But yeah, I'll be doing Man of Steel next. I'm gonna be working the next couple days, and then might have stuff to do on my first day off. So don't know when exactly I'll get to watch Man of Steel, but I'm gonna try to have the review up by hopefully this coming up weekend when I'll be off again. And yeah, like to thank the 12 subscribers I have for subscribing to me and watching my videos. So anyway, Like, comment, share, subscribe, and have a nice day.